Ladies, what S not as attractive or sexy as men think it is? Bragging. I guess when it turns to smugness. It's really unattractive. I like confidence, not bold declarations of irrationality. Bragging about all the women they've slept with. I cannot imagine a woman's first thought not being this idiot cannot keep anything to himself, or a walking anonymous STD mail warning telling me that you're an alpha. It makes you come across as an insecure loser. It also reminds me of that line Tywin Lannister says to Joffrey in Goatee, a man who has to say I'm the king is no true king, or something. I knew this one guy in college who would make wild assumptions about women off of a small comment of this, probably with good intentions to connect with them and show he is paying attention. But they would never be right and it put all of us off immediately. Example, my girlfriend, man, I'm not excited for this biology test on Monday. Demo. So science does not make a lot of sense to you. Girl, no, that's my major. I was just saying how early the test is. Demo. So you hate mornings. You're a complete night owl. I called it. Her again. Not exactly. And repeat for 20 minutes or so until the girl usually snuck away. Trying to prove you're better than me at the things I'm good at, or acting like the things I'm good at are silly in comparison to your hobbies and interests. You do not need to prove you're good enough for me. And if you did, making me feel shit is not the way to do it. Why would anybody think that calling your hobbies silly would make you more interested in the person? And why proving they're better than you at something? If you like coding, as an example, and I did like coding too, I would not want to brag about how good I am, or that I'm better. I would talk about the topic, and about what you've made so far. Maybe compare similar work, and share tips and tricks. But I would never even think about calling myself better. This can be applied to anything. There is a certain type of guy out there who thinks that anything perceived as feminine is lame and stupid, and that women need to be told how superior masculine hobbies and interests are, because that way they will see the light and begin revolving their life around the dude's interests instead. There is also a certain type of guy who considers it a personal threat if a woman is good at something, and think they have to prove that she is inferior to him, or else his dick will fall off or something. Sometimes these two types of dude overlap in one person, which is never a good time for anyone. I had an ex like that. For example, I think I teased him about using canned spaghetti sauce. No biggie. I didn't he think. So off he went saying that cooking was women's work. But then he had to top it off saying nevertheless, all the top chefs were men. So while women did the majority of cooking, they would never excel at it. He constantly belittled whatever I did. I went to college, oh boy. Do not you know people who do an apprenticeship earn way more money by the time they reach 30. I outshot him at a local event. Didn't he count? Because I wasn't in the military, etc. In retrospect, no idea how we ever lasted, as long as we did. Next guy I met was the opposite, delighted in my achievements, and bragged to the world about the things his wife was capable of. Yeah, we were competitive about certain things, to the point we deliberately picked different sports and hobbies, but never was it about diminishing the other's achievements. Arrogance. Also, anyone who mentions the word alpha just loses me immediately. Throwing money around, I mean, I'm glad you're solvent, but I would not want to stay with you if you literally chuck money away to impress people, even if that person is currently me. Bragging about having slept with everyone and their mother. Playing the macho man, or playing the fake dom. Just relax and try to make us laugh. If you make bank but all you can talk about is making bank, how else am I supposed to advertise my bank building business? The dickupter. Though hilarious, it has no seductive qualities. Keep doing it though. Flexing your money. Yuck. Nothing is sexy about you pulling $300 out of your wallet to pay for our $12.75 meal at Burger King. Following along with alpha beta stuff is really unattractive. It's like people pretending to be wolves, except that the alphas in a wolf pack are the parents, because they're the damn parents, and no other reason. Money. Not like having a good salary. That's a good thing I guess, but not always necessary. But useless display of money is, for me. So unattractive. I think the biggest turn off is men talking about their finance on first dates or making huge effort to make sure I'm aware of the price of their car, their clothes, etc. Make me feel like I'm just another thing they think they can buy. When I was a waiter, I loved those guys. They'd drop massive tips in order to show they had disposable income. And in a non-tipping country, anything that made those bonus bucks was awesome. My brother worked in a clothing store that sold suits and stuff for men. His biggest complaint was that her female co-workers made so much more money because guys like that would regularly come in and spend obscene amounts of money to impress a female salesperson. No one ever did that for my brother. I worked at Best Buy for a few years. I dealt with the same issue until I learned it was more impressive a fellow male half their age owned top of the line audio video equipment when selling them. I did just say, well, this is what I have. Their urgency to buy would always skyrocket. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm a guy, but watching it secondhand was so incredibly strange and sad. When I was stationed in San Diego, there was a girl going to another schoolhouse on my base that I made friends with, and she in turn had me meet this guy she knew. He was actually really charming her for a while, making her laugh, blush, talking her up, all of it. Then one day it was a complete 180. He tried to play the aloof, bad boy card, and it killed her interest in him. Hey man, wanna go get ice cream with us? I guess I do not care. Okay, well, did you wanna do lunch tomorrow instead? I don't care. Whatever. He went from a guaranteed date to never talking to her again in the span of that single, strange conversation. And it baffles me to this day. He wasn't mad at her or anything. He just switched personas or something. One of his immature friends no doubt told him to play it cool. The idea being is that if she is really interested, she'd pursue despite his being aloof. Kind of like the hard to get trope but gender swapped. Normally someone changes their strategy mid-game because they lost confidence in their original strategy. That does not make it any less normal, but that's the rationale behind it. I think the problem here is having a strategy. What's the point in developing a relationship by being fake? Either you have to keep doing that exact shit for the rest of your life, or your relationship is doomed when you reveal the real you. Well, he probably didn't have a strategy in the beginning, but started to work with one because he probably developed feelings. Didn't he know what to do with them? And asked the friend that tells mildly convincing stories about how he is such a ladies' man, to which that idiotic friend had told him to act this way. Incidentally, there are 3 reasons why a guy would start to play it cool, or at least 99 of guys going cold can be boiled down to one of these 3. You can avoid this part if you're not interested, but it's food for thought for antibody scrolling past. The first reason is that he caught feelings and he does not want to mess things up by rushing things or ruining an otherwise decent friendship, especially if he cannot interpret if she likes him or is just being friendly. He can usually solve this by telling the person he likes how he feels. But if that was easy, then everyone would be doing it, and there'd be no confusion at all nor any discussion about who should be the one to speak up. The second reason is that she caught feelings, so he went cold because he wasn't interested in that way, and she interprets that as him being an idiot. From personal experience, it's much easier for me to interpret whether or not someone likes me when I'm not interested in them, but I'm still trying to work out why that is. I think it comes down to self-confidence. In any case, going cold works only when you want them to be turned off. The third reason is purely a misunderstanding. It could very well be that he is going through some stuff and his mind is very much occupied with a difficult circumstance that he does not want to talk about, and she interprets that as him going cold. Being emotionless, acting like you're invincible. Random NSFW pictures. I read a book recently where they discussed the whole golden rule idea: treat other people how you would like to be treated. We should actually call that the silver rule. The golden rule should be treat other people how they would like to be treated. Makes a lot of sense when it comes to NSFW pics. I think a lot of guys would love to receive unsolicited NSFW pics. So in their mind they are treating you like they would want to be treated. If they put some thought into the other person's feelings, they would probably avoid looking like an asshole. Wearing too much cologne. Just shower and use clean clothes. Cologne is meant to be discovered, not announced. Forcing dominance aka being a dick to everyone within a 100-foot radius. Yuri not an alpha, just an asshole. For me it's bragging about your car. Also threatening to beat people up and constantly sizing up people. Unsolicited dick pics. While I was separated, it took so many duckable guys out of the running. Showing off. There is a certain male personality type that, whenever any topic comes up, said male will boast about how much they have about the topic. They just look completely arrogant. Flexing your height, especially when there's some delusion involved. Question from a short lad 5'4" or 162 meters. Does height play much of a role in how attractive you find someone? I have no hope of ever even pretending to be taller than I am, because no matter what I am still short. I want to clarify that this isn't something that is constantly on my mind. I've just been thinking about it the past little bit and wondering if it has an impact on how people perceive me. Most of the time I am fairly at peace with my height. There are just moments here and there when I get a little nervous. To me, huge bodybuilder muscles and dick pics. Putting down women you've hooked up with. I do not feel flattered if a guy thinks I'm a paragon of morality because we didn't hook up early on. I feel like you're too immature to date compassionately. Basically, anything where a guy is sex shaming consenting adults tells me A, he has hang-ups, and B, I did probably not have a good time in a relationship and definitely not in a sexual encounter with him. Before anyone asks, yes, this is a phenomenon I've seen, and more than once. If you think it's immoral, you need to not do it. Otherwise you are the low character person. Yup, this. And also if you claim that every one of your exes is a crazy psycho, you are either a gaslighting piece of shit, or you need to do some serious re-evaluation of the type of women you go out with. Yeah. Either the person is in a bad pattern and keeps ending up in the cycle of abuse, which is totally a thing. So friends, please seek therapy and help yourself if this is familiar. Or the person is a toxic person and you could be the next person they're bad-mouthing on a first date. For me, it would be when a guy tries and tells me what women like and do not like. My last boyfriend tried to tell me how women do not find Monty Python funny, so I recited some of my favorite line from the Holy Grail, said how funny the Ministry of Silly Walks was, and mentioned how me and my family constantly refer to thing as Crunchy Frog. Turns out he was a bit misogynistic. So I guess, do not be misogynistic. That's not sexy. Ask about the Twitter Olympics instead. Okay, that's all fine and good, but how do you ladies feel about Axe body spray? I will never admit to it, but I've been wearing a certain Axe scent for years. I've been complimented on it so much there is no way I'm gonna stop. Even if everything about the brand is douchey as duck. The secret sauce for scent alliteration FTW. Something that smells terrible on me may well smell great on you. Quite a few people do not realize that using scents in moderation, allowing the scents to blend with their own leads to much better results, especially when your personal scent is complemented by the artificial one. I really like Guxy Envy, they do not make it any more alas, and it really works for me. Let one of my buddies try some before going out and it just didn't smell right on him. When the man has explosive behaviors I feel like my uterus closes, breaking or hitting things for any problem. That's a big no-no for me. I also avoid men who do not have the capacity or interest to have frank conversations about their feelings. Many men feel that they do not need therapy or a conversation with a profession. I understand that society often expects man to be the rock of the relationship and not express it if he is suffering. When I talked about therapy it was in the sense that many men keep all the shit to themselves and choose not to open up, not even with their partner. There are many superficial relationships in which the couple has no idea what goes on in the other's head, and many do not even try to have that deeper connection. And this, for me, is not sexy. Agreeing with everything we say and do for the first 4 months, then calling us crazy when we re-upset that the person we fell for does not seem to exist anymore. We just supposed to accept this whole new human who suddenly does not see eye to eye on things and does not like our personality as much as we thought. It's common on both ends. People stop being able to hold the act after 3 months. I guess they were waiting for me to change as well. I do change because I'm so shocked at who I'm now dating because it's an entirely different person once the sex slows down. It's just not easy to want to sleep with someone who is saying things that go completely against what they spent months saying. If you ask about it, it's a fight. That's the main reason I'm taking some time off. I'm at a year and I've never been more at peace. Violence. Way too many guys I've met are ready to throw down over the smallest things. Personally, it's a lot more appealing when a guy is emotionally mature enough to avoid unnecessary violence. Probably a lot of guys feel pressured into it as well. Being persistent after being told no. Apparently there are men out there that think no means try harder. When they talk in that fake deep voice, it just sounds like they're burping. Making fun of talking shit about women 24/7. Like if you hate women that much then go date a man. Not knowing or refusing to learn basic life skills like cleaning, cooking, doing laundry, grocery shopping, being financially responsible, etc. I'm not your mother. Dick pics. Even if your dick looks incredible, I still probably don't want a picture of it. I don't care if it's solid gold and shaped to bring me to orgasm in a second. Send me pics of your smile, maybe some chest shots, or take a picture of your pets. 10 times out of 10 I lines prefer it. I always tell potential suitors I'm going to send them an unsolicited pussy picture, then send a picture of my cat. I think it's funny, but it probably isn't that funny, and slightly confusing as I'm a male. I've never got a date through any of these apps using that line. So it probably isn't very good. I read somewhere that profile pics of guys with pets is a massive turn off to, so that's half my gallery gone, hahaha. Men who interrupt you to talk about themselves, and men who touch your back or neck to physically direct you along as you re-walking. You not coming off as charming and interesting if you don't care about what I have to say, and if you treating me like I am a wayward pet or farm animal. You coming off as controlling and suggesting you don't see me as an equal. Slapping your erection on my vagina before you put it in. Are you thinking that does something for me? Sharing any sexual fantasies involving your BFGF crushes, relatives, friends, or generally anyone they know in real life. Doubly so if said fantasy involves your BFGF crush and this person they know. This is especially true if it's one of their immediate relatives, like a parent or a sibling. Gentlemen, whatever you do, keep those fantasies to yourself. You in many sections of Pornhub might get turned on by the idea of having a three-way with a girl and her mom, or girl and her sister, etc. But I can assure you from personal experience that if you tell the girl about this fantasy in detail, especially out of nowhere, it will destroy her desire for you like a clitoral nuclear winter. This is also true if it involves your own relatives, friends or acquaintances. Just keep it in the mind palace. I'm so late to this, but when guys say you not like other girls and stuff of that variety, do not put other women down to compliment me. I'm exactly like other girls, because we all just people. It also tends to mean they put a persona on me and then expect me to live up to it forever. Sounds like you do not know many girls then, buddy, is always my reply. I've found guys like that legit do not know women and instead assume we all walking talking stereotypes. Making me make every decision on my own. I'm glad you want my input, but I care about what you think too. Sometimes I do not even know what I want, and I need help choosing the where do you want to eat game. My mostly awesome husband does this. I think it's a passive aggressive thing. I think if he subconsciously feels it, he never makes a decision and defers to me, then he won't have to risk being wrong. Super annoying, and I will call him out on it, and he has gotten better over the years. It's a lot of pressure, having to always be in the driver's seat, and sometimes it feels great to have someone else take the wheel. Not willing to embrace anything that relates to a feminine side when it means I'm looking out for your health, especially when he can see the results on me. My BF refuses to use any shampoo that isn't a 3-in-1 body wash, car wash, conditioner. His hair is thinning, and I suggested he use the shampoo I use. My hair grows about 2 inches a month and he refuses. Suggested he take the vitamins I take by it and he refuses because it's in a pink bottle. He has trouble sleeping. I suggest melatonin. He refuses because he thinks he is above needing help to sleep sometimes. He will notice that my hands are soft when it's cold out. I mention that I use lotion. If I tell him to use lotion he does not. Thus he continues to have cracked hands like a desert. As a dude who tries to take really great care of his hair we just go bald dude like that one perhaps cannot be helped lol. I'd be down to try any product because I don't want my hair to keep falling out but it feels like God is playing actual joke on us and that there is no way to save your hair from falling out once it starts. The feeling is really shitty. A large penis. Medium size is perfect. Penetrating deeper does not make the sex better and can hurt. Men get really sad about not having a 7-incher or whatever, but a 4-6-incher is perfect. I don't want to say I love you too often, or it will lose its meaning. Glad to know you view love as a finite resource that wears out like a pair of cheap shoes. Cologne body spray. Slicked back hair. Acting macho. Flashing cash. Driving a giant Unkind pickup truck. OMG. I see you driving one of those things and eyelines immediately think you re an asshole. Not taking no for an answer. They continue to try to convince you to go on a date with them do something else. When you've already said no. We re not playing hard to get. We re just not interested. And it's not sexy when you try to make us say yes. Being unkind and rash with workers at stores. I, for one, make sure I thank every person that helps me regardless of what their job is. If I see a guy being rude to a fast food worker or, actually, anyone, the guy will thereafter be categorized as mean in my brain. I haven't seen this one yet so I think I should add insisting on paying for things when I'm more comfortable paying separately. It is so outdated and unnecessary. But besides that, I don't like worrying about what he is ordering and calculating how much the bill is going to be, and vice versa. Especially when the guys I've dated like steaks and drinks, whereas I drank water and ordered chicken usually. Let us just keep things simple and separate. Imo. Don't double insist you cover the bill when I clearly just want separate tabs. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.